As-salaam wa-alaikum, brothers and sisters. Welcome to Year 6 of the 17 Verses podcast. I'm your host, Maher Haq. In this podcast, we take a small selection from the Quran every day and recite it to you in plain English, so you can get a small slice of God's Word while you go about your day. By averaging 17 verses per day, we're able to break the Quran down into manageable pieces and finish it in 1 year. If you enjoy the podcast, please help spread the word. Tell your friends and family, subscribe in iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you get your podcasts, and write us a review. Show notes and a text episode can be found at 17verses.com. That's the numbers 17verses.com. Today's selection is from Surah 3, Âli Imrân, or the Family of Imran, verses 92 through 101. These verses cover the criteria of righteousness, lawful and unlawful food for the children of Israel, the first house of Allah on earth, the disbelief of the Jews and Christians, and lastly a warning not to obey the Jews or Christians. Tafseer for this selection concerns the religion of Abraham, mentioned in verse 95. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. You can never attain righteousness unless you spend in the cause of Allah that which you dearly cherish, and whatever you spend, surely it is known to Allah. All food that is lawful in Islamic law was also lawful for the children of Israel, except what Jacob made unlawful for himself before the Torah was revealed to Moses. Ask them, bring the Torah and read a passage from it in support of your objection if what you say is true. Then whoever fabricates a lie against Allah after this will indeed be unjust. Say, Allah has declared the truth. If you are sincere, then follow the faith of Abraham. He was upright and not of the pagans. Undoubtedly the first house of worship for Allah ever built for mankind is the one at Bakka, a blessed site and a guidance for all the worlds. And just to note that Bakka is an older word for Mecca. In it are clear signs and the station of Abraham where he used to worship. Whoever enters it is safe. Performance of the Hajj or pilgrimage to this house is a duty to Allah for all who can afford the journey to it. And the one who disobeys this commandment should know that Allah is self-sufficient, beyond the need of any from the worlds. Say, O people of the book, why do you deny the revelations of Allah? Allah Himself is a witness to your actions. Say, O people of the book, why do you obstruct the believers from the path of Allah and desire that they follow the crooked way, while you yourselves are witnesses to Allah's covenant? Allah is not unmindful of what you do. O believers, if you were to obey a group of those who were given the book, they would turn you back from belief to unbelief. Just think, how can you turn away from belief on their statements, when Allah's revelations are being recited to you and Allah's messenger is among you? Whoever holds fast to Allah will indeed be guided towards the right way. Ameen. Now concerning the religion of Abraham mentioned in verse 95, quote, the greater freedom of Islam in the matter of the ceremonial laws, compared with the Mosaic law, is not a reproach but a recommendation. We go back to an older source than Judaism, the institution of Abraham. By common consent, his faith was sound, and he was certainly not a pagan, a term contemptuously applied to the Arabs by the Jews. Unquote. This concludes today's episode of the 17 Verses podcast. I hope that this selection helps increase your understanding of the Holy Quran just a little bit. If you like the podcast, you can subscribe in iTunes or Stitcher and write us a review. Or you can grab the RSS feed and put it into your own podcast app. The show notes, including a text version of this episode, can be found by going to 17verses.com. That's the numbers 17verses.com. Thank you, and be well.